It's wild how one simple debate over who had the stronger verse turned into a conversation that split New York hip-hop fans almost overnight. What started as a basic comparison quickly turned into a much bigger discussion, and the buzz grew so fast that Cameron eventually decided to share his own thoughts. That alone showed how much attention the topic had gained.
All right. The 38 Spesh verse Kiss. Let me ask you, I'm sure everybody knows what's going on, like it's heating up, and I'm glad everybody's keeping the music. But let me ask you this, Cam, if somebody did a song with you and said they had a better verse than you, what would have been your reaction?
Well, let's lay out the scenario for the people that don't know what's going on, because everybody doesn't know what's going on. So maybe in your world, I have a bigger audience.
We talked about it already.
Yeah, but just because who said they seen that episode? Let's fill people in. Gotta fill people in, man. So Jadakiss and 38 Special are going, pardon me, I don't know if it's special, 38 Spesh are going back and forth about, well, it started with, they was on Benny the Butcher's song together. Benny the Butcher and 38 Spesh said that 38 Spesh verse was better than Jada's verse. And Jada had something to say in the comments. It was a little bit going back and forth in the comments. Then Jada and Fat Joe released a new song. And it appears, I don't know this for a fact, it appears, or what people are saying, that it looked like Jada took shots at 38 Spesh. Do I know this for a fact? I don't know. But I know that, you know, the timing of their argument online, it seems like that's what he's doing. You know, you ask Kiss, he may say he's not even talking about him. So I don't want to put that on him until he confirms that's what he's talking about. And with Sin is saying that, you know, it's dope that it's all music. It's not no shit in the street. It's not nobody saying they gonna kill anybody, et cetera, et cetera.
For years, people have been saying hip-hop needs to get back to real lyrical competition. And moments like this are exactly what they've been asking for. Fans have spent a long time arguing that rap lost some of its competitive spirit. Now they're getting a reminder of what that kind of competition actually looks like. This isn't about personal drama or real-life problems. The entire spotlight is on the bars, the writing, and who delivered the stronger performance. What made everything even more interesting was how fast the conversation stopped being about just two verses. Before long, entire cities were picking sides and standing behind their favorite artist. That's when the business side of rap started showing itself. Once supporters begin representing where they're from, instead of only defending one rapper, the excitement grows even faster. Clips start spreading across every platform, fresh freestyles begin showing up, and people who weren't even part of the original discussion suddenly want to join in. By the time everything settles down, nearly everyone connected to the moment ends up gaining extra attention. A lot of people keep saying rap doesn't have that competitive edge anymore, but debates like this prove there's still plenty of life in it.
It's definitely a big topic about whose bars are better and who raps better, and then it just didn't turn into that. It turned into upstate New York, where 38 Spesh is from, against New York City, and now other people are getting involved, and Jadakiss artists that used to work with him, I won't say his artists, people who used to work with him is involved. People from Rochester, where 38 Spesh is from, they're involved and they're doing freestyles. So this one thing, comment that Sin is asking me about, one person saying that his verse is better than somebody else's verse, then turned into this thing snowballing into like a 2-month thing now. And it doesn't seem like it's over. At least from the people from Rochester or other people that's cool with Kiss. I haven't heard anything from 38 Spesh, and outside that rhyme that Kiss did with Fat Joe, I haven't heard anything else outside of that either. But that definitely sparked up some stuff. Now to answer Sid's question, would I care about what?
Would you care if you did a track with somebody and they said they verse was better than yours?
If they said it?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't care. A lot of people say that, or I won't even say that. It's people who like other people's verse better than my verse or whatever, but it's all opinionated.
Nobody is talking about outside issues this time because the focus stays locked on one question: who had the better bars? That's the kind of back and forth hip-hop fans have been wanting to see for years. What began as a simple comparison didn't stay small for very long. Soon, whole cities were backing their own side, and that's when the conversation reached another level. Once people start repping their hometown instead of just supporting one artist, the momentum builds fast. Social media fills up with clips. New freestyles start appearing everywhere, and even people who missed the original discussion suddenly have something to say. Before you know it, the entire situation creates more attention for everyone involved. Cameron also pointed out something that many artists probably wouldn't admit so openly. Plenty of rappers would immediately try to convince everyone their own verse was the clear winner. Cam took a different route by separating personal opinion from objective facts. There isn't some official scorecard that can prove one verse is unquestionably better than another. Most listeners hear music through the perspective of the artist they already support. That's exactly why these debates almost never have a final winner.
Like, you can, it's not a computer doing votes. It's not a count. It's your opinion. You can't get mad at somebody's opinion. You know what I'm saying? What I would do is, like for me, when somebody may say somebody I never versed better than me or whatever the case is, I'll sit there and be like, okay, let's do their verse and let's do my verse. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who say, because you know what it is as well, for me, I'm just telling me, and I can't argue if somebody has a better verse than me or not. It is what it is. You know, I've been blessed to do some records with some really dope artists and legendary artists and so on and so forth. And sometimes people don't even listen to what the other person says. They're more excited for their artists and nobody's better than them and nobody could compete with them and so on and so forth. And whenever I'm not gonna argue it, but if we ever sit down and have a conversation, I'll just say, all right, let's break down my verse and see.
Many fans choose their side before they even take time to break down the lyrics. That's how rap discussions are supposed to happen when the spotlight stays on lyricism. Cameron didn't jump into the conversation acting like his verse automatically deserved the crown. Instead, he encouraged people to judge both performances based on what was actually said on the record. That changes everything. Anyone can say their favorite rapper won. The real discussion starts when people look at the punchlines, the wordplay, the storytelling, the rhyme patterns, and the delivery. That's usually where the difference appears between casual listeners and fans who really study the craft of hip-hop. The problem is that a lot of debates never make it that far.
You know, there's mad people who say, I'm trying to think of a song. Let's just use like New York City with Jay-Z, right? Like whole smoke Cam. That nigga killed Cam on it. You may like Jay verse better than mine. I'm not arguing that. Smoke Cam? Nah, that song. That's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And if they say I'm bugging, what I'm gonna do? Fight them? I'm bugging. Okay, cool. Joe, smoke me. I don't know what to tell you. Whatever you want to say.
Too often, the artist with the biggest reputation or the strongest fan base gets declared the winner before anyone seriously talks about the music itself. That's why conversations like this stand out. They remind people that great rap is about more than popularity. It's about what actually happened on the track. Another thing that caught people's attention was Cameron's attitude throughout the whole discussion. Some artists act like giving another rapper credit somehow weakens their own position. Cam looked at it in a completely different way. The way he spoke about Jay-Z made it obvious he had no issue with people reaching their own conclusions. His message was simple. If that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. Surprisingly, fans usually respect that kind of confidence much more than watching someone become defensive.
Same thing like with Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Prodigy, when I did, that nigga Prodigy killed Cam on there. And he killed the hook too. That nigga killed Cam, you know. I actually wrote the hook, nigga, so you like it. I wrote the hook.
You like that?
Yeah, because Prodigy said it. Nah, it's more sinister with P.
That same mindset works far beyond music. Real confidence isn't acting like nobody can ever outperform you. Real confidence is staying comfortable enough that someone else's opinion doesn't throw you off. That's a lesson that applies whether you're making records, running a business, or building your own career. There was another interesting detail that gave people a small look behind the scenes of the music industry. Cameron casually mentioned that he wrote the hook, and that's the type of information songwriters and producers notice right away. Most listeners remember the artist performing the song, but they don't always think about the person who created one of its most memorable parts. That's how the business has worked for a long time.
The bandana P said it's a little different. And shout out to Prodigy, that's why I wanted him to say it, because I knew people would have that reaction, like, if P say this hook, it's crazy, but I wrote it. No, and I'm not arguing.
R.I.P. word.
P, my nigga. I love P. I always shout P out my gram, so I'm not arguing my verse was better than his or not better than his. I'm just telling you, niggas don't even want to hear it. Then when you start making sense about shit, they still don't want to hear it. It's the real I want to make sense. So no, to answer your question, I gave a little more detail behind it, but no, I'm not mad if somebody says their verse is better than mine. How am I fight somebody's opinion? It's an opinion.
Some of the biggest creative contributions never receive the same public attention as the performance itself. Fans usually remember the voice they hear on the record, while the writer earns respect behind the scenes before moving on to the next project. It's one of those parts of the industry that many people don't notice unless someone brings it up. That may end up being the biggest takeaway from this entire conversation. Cameron kept bringing everything back to one simple point. When it comes to music, personal preference will always play a huge role. That's something people online often forget. Everyone argues as if there's only one correct answer about who had the stronger verse, but it usually isn't that simple. Some listeners care most about punchlines. Others connect more with storytelling. Some pay attention to rhyme structure, while others simply enjoy one rapper's voice and delivery more than another's. That's what makes music so different for every listener. The fact that people still can't agree on a winner says a lot about both performances. They each gave fans something worth talking about, and that's a big achievement by itself. In today's music industry, keeping people talking is one of the most valuable things an artist can do. Cameron also showed just how quickly a debate over lyrics can grow into something much bigger than the music itself.
Now, we outside in the street and all that, and we on the block, you know, that shit could go on fire. Fuck out of here, you heard the nigga, fuck, yeah. Jay said he write with the hand and don't write. Now, if I'm outside arguing, that's what niggas do. Well, if you sit there and being logical, no, I can't argue with a nigga. You know what I mean? I can't. You got nigga P said he was at the Carbon, nigga. Fuck you talking about Ken wasn't at the Carbon. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you talking about. Nah, nigga Killer said, but you gotta understand, Kim said, if you can't get paid in the earth this big, you worthless, kid. Nigga don't you got, what you gonna do? You can't argue, man. So it's just niggas' opinion. But no, to answer your question, if I'm outside on the block having fun with it, cool, but overall, no, I'm not.
What started as a conversation about one record became a much larger discussion about lyricism, fan loyalty, regional pride, and how people judge great rap. That's why moments like this continue to grab attention long after the song is over. One thing that made this debate stand out was how it reminded people that great rap conversations don't have to turn into personal attacks. Fans were actually breaking down lyrics, replaying verses, and pointing out details that might have been missed the first time around. That's the kind of discussion that keeps hip-hop exciting. Everyone hears music differently, and that's exactly why these moments stay alive for so long. Another interesting part was how quickly opinions spread across social media. One clip leads to another, then reaction videos start appearing everywhere, and before long, thousands of people are sharing their own rankings. Some listeners focused on clever punchlines, while others believed delivery made the biggest difference. Every new reaction added another layer to the conversation, making the debate even bigger than it started. It also showed how much replay value a song can gain from a simple discussion. People who hadn't even listened to the track before suddenly wanted to hear it for themselves. Instead of taking someone else's opinion, they went back to compare every line on their own. That's something every artist hopes for. The more people replay a record, the more attention it continues to receive. There's another reason these debates matter so much. They encourage listeners to pay closer attention to the writing instead of only judging a song after one quick listen. Sometimes a clever line doesn't stand out immediately. A strong rhyme pattern or hidden reference can take a few plays before people fully appreciate it. That's one reason classic hip-hop records continue to be discussed years after they were released. At the same time, this situation proved that popularity alone doesn't settle every argument. A well-known name might attract more attention, but fans still enjoy comparing the actual performances. That's where opinions begin to split. One person might value storytelling, another might care more about technical skill, while someone else is listening for confidence and delivery. None of those viewpoints are automatically right or wrong, which keeps the discussion going. Another thing people noticed was how different generations viewed the debate. Longtime hip-hop fans often look closely at rhyme schemes and lyrical structure, while newer listeners sometimes focus more on energy, flow, and overall replay value. Neither approach cancels out the other. It simply shows how the audience has grown, bringing different perspectives into the same conversation. In the end, debates like this help keep hip-hop culture active. They give fans something to discuss beyond streaming numbers or chart positions. Instead of asking who sold the most records, people start asking who delivered the strongest performance. That's a completely different conversation, and many fans believe it's one of the best parts of the culture. As the discussion continued to grow, one thing became impossible to ignore. A single comparison between two verses had turned into a much larger conversation about creativity, confidence, and what people value most in rap. Whether someone agreed with Cameron's view or not, his comments gave fans another reason to revisit the music, compare the performances, and keep the conversation going. That's exactly how memorable hip-hop moments continue to live on long after the first listen. As the conversation kept growing, another question started popping up everywhere. Why do certain rap debates stick around for years while others disappear after a few days? A big part of the answer comes down to authenticity. Fans can usually tell when artists are speaking from experience and putting real effort into their writing. When a verse feels genuine, people keep going back to it, looking for details they may have missed the first time. That's one reason lyrical debates never really go out of style. A catchy song might dominate playlists for a while, but a verse packed with clever wordplay, layered meanings, and sharp delivery often has a much longer life. Every replay gives listeners a chance to catch another line or notice a different rhyme pattern. Before long, people start sharing their favorite moments, and the discussion keeps expanding. Another interesting thing is how every fan listens with a different perspective. Some care most about creative punchlines, others pay attention to storytelling or how smoothly an artist rides the beat. Then there are listeners who value confidence, emotion, or vocal delivery above everything else. Because everyone measures greatness differently, it's almost impossible for every person to agree on the same winner. Moments like these also remind people that hip-hop has always been built on healthy competition. From classic freestyles to unforgettable guest verses, artists have spent decades trying to leave the strongest impression whenever they step on a track. That drive to stand out pushes creativity forward and gives fans plenty to talk about long after the music drops. The role of the audience can't be ignored either. Fans don't just listen anymore, they react instantly. A single clip can spark thousands of comments, reaction videos, live stream discussions, and lyric breakdowns within hours. One opinion leads to another, and suddenly a conversation that started with a few listeners turns into a topic the entire hip-hop community is following. At the same time, debates like this show there's room for different opinions without anyone having to agree completely. One listener might think a verse was technically stronger, while another connects more with the emotion behind the performance. Both viewpoints can exist at the same time, and that's part of what makes music so interesting. Different perspectives keep the conversation alive instead of ending it too quickly. Another lesson from all of this is that memorable performances often create their own momentum. When a verse really connects with people, it doesn't need constant promotion. Fans naturally begin quoting lines, sharing clips, recommending the track to friends, and revisiting it months later. That kind of lasting attention is something many artists hope to achieve because it keeps their music relevant long after release day. In the end, this entire debate became about much more than deciding who had the better verse. It highlighted how powerful lyricism can still be, how passionate hip-hop fans remain, and how one great performance can inspire endless conversations. Whether people agreed or disagreed, they kept listening, comparing, and discussing the music, and that's a sign that the culture is still as engaged as ever. At the end of the day, that's what makes hip-hop so exciting. One great verse can spark countless conversations, bring different opinions together, and remind everyone why lyricism still matters. Whether you thought one artist had the stronger performance, or you were just enjoying the debate, one thing is clear. The discussion itself became part of the story, and fans kept the momentum going long after the music dropped. Moments like these prove that the culture is always evolving. New songs will come out, fresh debates will begin, and fans will keep breaking down every bar, every punchline, and every performance. That's what keeps hip-hop moving forward and gives everyone something to talk about. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more stories, updates, and deep dives into the biggest moments in hip-hop and entertainment, make sure you subscribe to FameZar and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.